and I should have recorded reading the bio. That bio is super impressive. All right, so I'm gonna turn it over to you, and I think, but you do have co-hosts if you want to share anything. Your screen.
Perfect. Can you hear me okay?
We sure can.
Excellent. Well, so first of all, let me say I'm so humbled and I'm so honored to have this invitation tonight to come and just share a few words on faith and finance. And it's providential that you didn't record the reading of the Bible because what I want to start off with by saying is giving all accolades to the Lord, and I give all glory to Him because He's given me the platform and the opportunity to gain all that experience and all that knowledge and participate in all those different initiatives. And so, really, I just want to point everything back to him because he's really given me the opportunity to do what I do and impact people's lives and grow. And I'm still growing and still learning. And so, at the crux of all of this, all that experience and all those certifications and titles. At the crux of all of this is that I love people. I love to see them grow, and I really enjoy seeing God work in people's lives, spiritually and personally and professionally. So thanks again for tonight's opportunity. And so I've been given a charge to speak for 5 to 10 minutes on faith and finance. I don't know how many of you have experience in the church world, but if you tell a preacher to speak for 10 minutes, it's almost like telling a dog not to bark. But I'm going to do my best to go through this lightning fast, and I just want to share a few words with you. Again, thank you to Odetta, and thank you, Sister Stacy, for giving me the opportunity to share tonight, and so excited to be here. Okay, let's see. Can you see my screen? Can I get a thumbs up if you can see it?
Yes, we could see it.
Excellent. Okay. So, faith and finance, owners on earth, managers for heaven. Uh, and I realize that this topic really touches right so many lives in so many areas. And the reality is, the the thing that I've realized is that the two words faith and finance don't always sit um, comfortably together with people. For some, faith is sacred and spiritual, and while finance feels practical and earthly. But the truth is, in God's design, and I might be speaking to the choir here tonight, is that the two are deeply connected. In fact, how we handle money is one of the clearest reflections of how we understand God, ourselves, and our purpose. And I came across this quote, and I want to just read it very quickly. Hope my screen works here. There we go. So it says, what we do with a little time, a little talent, and a little money tells God a lot. That's by Randy Alcorn. And so I want you to just take a snapshot of that pitch, that quote in your mind. So what we do with a little time, a little talent,
I don't
a little
see,
money.
we're not seeing,
You
I'm
can't see
not
my
seeing the
screen?
quote. I'm seeing your screen that just has faith and finance living as like I'm seeing your
Okay.
like I think it's a Word document on your
Yeah.
desktop.
Okay, let me try this again. I'm having a little bit of bandwidth issues, so I crave your patience there. Let's see. Okay, let's try this again. Okay, can you see the quote now?
Still the same thing.
Hmm.
Your
My Word
your
doc?
Word document on a desk, yeah, on your with
Okay.
your back your screen,
Okay.
your
All right.
desktop screen. You have to
Share.
share.
Okay. Okay. I'm going to share that. Okay, I think we might be in business now.
Yes, we got it.
Okay. All right. Can you give me a hand clap there? Sorry for that mishap there. I apologize. And so what we do with a little time, a little talent, and a little money tells God a lot. And so it's in that respect that the two terms, finance and faith, are intimately connected, right? And so um, there are really simply two principles that really guide my life as it applies to this concept of faith and finance. And if you walk away with anything tonight, I'd like you to remember these two principles. Number one, on earth I am an owner. What I mean by that is, okay, my name might be on my bank account, and it's going to have title on my home, and my RESPs and RSPs, right? They have my name on it. But the reality is, from heaven's perspective, I'm not the ultimate owner. I'm a manager. And so everything that I have ultimately belongs to him. And that's how I've really lived my life when it comes to this concept of faith and finance. I might be an owner. I might have title to the assets here on earth. If you go to the bank, my name is there. But ultimately, I am managing something that God has entrusted to me. And so, because of that, I have a responsibility to maximize what I own and what I've been called to manage. And so, I want to think about a few principles. Okay? And so here's your big picture. So on earth, we earn income, we have savings, we own property. But heaven's view is that we manage what belongs to God here on earth. And our responsibility is to maximize and manage what he's entrusted to us. And so what does that mean? So very quickly, I'd like you to hang your thoughts on these four hooks tonight. And so number one, God owns everything. I am a steward, and that word means manager. I must invest wisely. And here's an important point. I will be evaluated. I'll say that again. And so God owns everything. I'm a steward. I'm a manager. I must invest wisely, and I will be evaluated. And so, number one, God owns it, right? Scripture tells us in Psalm 24, verse 1, that the earth is the Lord's and everything in it, and they that dwell therein. And so I often make this remark with my friends. I say, if you come to my house and you find a $10 bill in my couch, okay? The reality is, right, you may have found the $10 bill, but you found it in my house. And the reality is, I still own that $10 bill, even though you found it in my home. And so, really, we are just managers or stewards of that which belongs to God. And so, He allows us to harness the world's resources. He really gives us the ability to really earn and build wealth and build assets. Okay? And so, imagine for a second, right, that, your friend lent you their Mercedes Benz. Okay? The reality is that you own title to that Mercedes Benz. Okay, or they own title to that Mercedes Benz. And the reality is that as you drive that car, although you might be driving the car, you might be sitting in it, right, with the top down and the window down and the wind blowing in your hair, right, in the summertime, but the car belongs to someone else. And so the expectation is that because it's on loan to you, you're going to use that vehicle. You're going to use that asset in a way that best aligns with the purposes of the person who owns it. And that's really how we need to view finance and faith. And so what we have, friends, really belongs to God, and we are just managers. And I tell my children this. I just started teaching them on managing finance, and we were doing some weekly sessions. And the first principle I said to them was this. Number one, you're a manager. Whether you have $10 or you have $10,000, you're a manager. And the second principle I said is you can't spend more than you earn. Because if you do that, you're going to be boring. Right? But ultimately, you're a manager. And so God owns everything that we have. And secondly, because God owns everything, we are managers of what belongs to Him. And so what does that mean? So if God owns everything, and if we are managers, it means that how we use what He has given us, and in this context, right, finances, they must be used and allocated and spent in alignment with His purposes. And so it means we prioritize Him first. we put him first. And it shows up in three priorities. We prioritize him in tithing and in giving. Why do we do this? It's not because God needs our money, because he owns it anyway. It belongs to him. Really, what we are saying, when we give and when we prioritize his purposes with our finances, what we're really saying is, God, everything we have belongs to you, and we want to make sure that we use it and maximize it for those purposes that best align with your heart. Okay? And so we prioritize him first. Secondly, we prioritize managing our finances today. Now, I talked about the fact that we are managers. Now, think about this for a second, all of you here. Imagine you gave someone $10,000 for the next 2 years, and you expect that they're going to use that money, and maybe they may invest it in something, they may put it in an interest-bearing asset, whatever it might be, but your expectation as a person who lent them that money is that a year from now, you would expect that you would have at least $10,000 or more. Is that true? Can I get a thumbs up? Anybody here? Who would want less than $10,000 a year afterwards? Nobody. Okay? You wouldn't want that. Okay, if that was the case, that person wouldn't be a good money manager. And that's really the context that I'm coming at when I speak about faith and finances. See, because it belongs to God, our faith tells us that because it belongs to God, we must manage it in a way, friends, okay, that is wise, that is optimal, that maximizes what he's given to us. And so what does that mean? Okay, it means that we must be wise in how we spend, budgeting. We must be wise in making sure our needs are met, being wise in making sure that we're living within our means. And I like this quote here from an unknown author. He says, living outside of your means is like telling God he doesn't know what's best for you. And so really what the author's trying to say is this: when God gives us an allotment, right, the expectation is that we manage that through spending and saving in a way that we live within our means, because that's wise stewardship of what God has given us. Okay? And so if you don't tell your money where to go, it'll wander off on its own. All right? And so manage for today. Secondly, prepare for tomorrow. And so we have the experts on the line. I'm not the expert in this, right? We have some finance experts here that are going to give you some tips, I'm assuming, after this talk. But one of the ways that we are wise, imagining what God has given us, is managing for the future, preparing for tomorrow. Tomorrow comes, okay? I might not look that old, okay? But I got a little gray here, and maybe last year I was 25 years of age. Okay? Fast forward 25 years, I turned 50 just this month, okay? And it comes very quickly. And the reality is that one of the things that behoves us to do is to make sure that we are preparing for the future. What does that look like? Making sure we have adequate insurance for us and our loved ones, savings and investments, okay? All of this, my friends, goes into being a wise steward of what God has given to us. Fourth principle, and I'm coming down. Because we are stewards and God owns everything, we must invest wisely. We must invest wisely. And so time doesn't permit me to get into it, right? But there are so many vehicles that are out there that we can capitalize on and leverage to allow the money that God has entrusted to us to manage to work for us. Okay? You've heard of the value of compound interest. And again, I won't go into all of that. But the point is investment is not greed. Okay? It's stewardship. In fact, Jesus himself taught about multiplying what you've been given. Right? Time won't permit me to talk about the parable of the talents. But one of the things that we notice is that God is not going to assess me on the basis of how much I amass, but how I use and multiply and maximize in terms of return what he's given to me. And last principle, okay, before I zip my mouth, is this. Because we are managers and because God owns everything, okay, you and I will be evaluated on how we use what God has entrusted to us. And so I ask myself these two questions all the time. What report will I give to God at the end of my life? Two, what legacy will I leave for my family? Proverbs 13:22 says, "A good man leaves an inheritance for his children's children." That's very sobering, but it's also empowering. So as I really close, okay, this section, I want you to know legacy is not just money. It's about wisdom, about values, and setting the example. Okay? A financial legacy matters too. A good steward, a good manager, doesn't only think about today, they think generationally. And that's biblical. And so, when you plant a tree, okay, the reality is you might enjoy some shade, but your children and your grandchildren will enjoy the fullness of it. Because as that tree grows, it spreads. Those leaves, they get bigger and bigger. You ever plant a tree and watch it grow for 10 years? Okay? The reality is, my friends, it is what we sow now, how we invest, and what we sow now financially under God's leadership that makes an impact for the future. Okay? And so, as I close, faith and finance, my friends, they're on the same road together. Okay? We are owners on earth, managers for heaven, we're accountable stewards, we're legacy builders. And so thank you again for allowing me to be part of this session, and I hope this has been encouraging to everyone. Thank you for having me here tonight.
Oh, wow, wow. I love it. Thank you so very much for sharing those words. And wow, it's so refreshing to hear others speak about this subject. And now we're going to scoot over to Stacy Thomas. Stacy is a wow, Stacy, you got a new title. I didn't know this. Stacy is a registered retirement analyst. I signed up for that course. I just never finished it, but I'm glad you took it.
Yeah.
She's a registered retirement analyst, world system builder, national instructor. Girl, you be working. You be eating up the books over there. I love it. And of course, a licensed insurance advisor. Stacy is based in Toronto metropolitan. Stacy is based in Toronto, but she's also a Metropolitan University graduate at NYU. Fellow NYU. Oh my God, I get excited.
Mhm.
And fellow NYU FIT alumni. Yes, we did graduate from NYU. Okay, just in case you guys are wondering. uh, she is a mother of four awesome children. Yes, she is, especially the twins and Noah. She is very passionate about helping people and has currently educated more than, woo, Stacy, you've been busy, more than 1,600 families about financial literacy. Stacy has personally partnered with many organizations like Bob Bumble Canadian Center of Excellence to educate the deaf. Oh wow, the deaf community, amazing.
Mhm.
The deaf community about, yeah, because they need money too, right?
Yeah.
About finances. Also, Roots Community Services educating the youth and seniors. Yep, they need money too, especially the seniors.
Mhm.
About how money works. Her dedication to Women Without Walls Canada Inc. membership program is unwavering. She has also collaborated with many Black. Wow, Stacy, you've been working in Canada. I love it. She has also collaborated with many Black student associations and youth groups to share the financial literacy campaign. These financial seminars are ongoing at Harvard University. Stacy, in addition, numerous corporations have implemented the meetings as part of their employee program, training program, for example, Carey Group. Most recently, she has joined Vision and Hope to do a Wealth Academy. Stacy has personally presented these workshops at many places of worship, like Laos Memorial Baptist Church, West Toronto Church of God, Faith Miracle Temple, Transforming Faith, to name a few. She believes that helping people become financially free is her money ministry. I present to you my girl, Stacy Thomas.
Hello, hello, good night, everybody. Welcome. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. How is everybody doing? I am here, like I said, in icy because there was a freezing ice storm out there, Toronto. But I see that there are some beautiful and warm faces on here, like Angela, Helen, Richard, those who I can see their face, Brian. They did do a survey in 2020 during COVID, and it said that people who turn their cameras on consider themselves to be beautiful and handsome. So, I'm not saying anything about those that just have their name, but I'm just saying, it's nice to be able to see people's faces and connect. So thank you so much for that lovely intro, Odetta and Mr. Bishop Ricketts. That is my pastor. Okay, so I really love how he opened us up because yes, we have to be good stewards of our money, right? We have to be good stewards of what the Lord has given us. And I'm so super, super excited. And I get excited about this because I know that God's laid it on my heart. And this is my money ministry. That's why I'm so passionate about it. And especially for our people, because at the end of the day, we've been left behind. So I'm going to just share my screen. And once again, having 10 minutes or so, we got to really rip through this because we started a little bit late. So please bear with me. If I go over a little bit over, I do apologize because there's so much to cover. And, it's not going to get everything here today. So welcome to our Faith and Finance. And just a little disclaimer, right? This is really for educational purposes. We're not here to solicit or sell you anything. I'm not a tax accountant. I'm not a lawyer. Really and truly, we really just want people to get this financial information. And just to keep the integrity of this, please do not take any pictures, videotape, or anything this workshop, all right? So once again, we are here to educate people. As you can see from my poster, right? We are on a campaign to educate 30 million by 2030. That's one of our goals. And I'm so, so happy that 20 of you are on here today because guess what? Those 20 will tell 20, right? I'm sure if you even learned one new nugget today, you can really tell and share one person, right? Just like when we go out and we share the word, we share the good word. This is something good news that we have to share as well. And we have a book that we can share it with, and it's called Saving Your Future. So in this book here, because I know there's many in the US and there's some in Canada, I do want to share with you some challenges. So yeah, we have good news and we have bad news. Do you guys want the bad news first? Okay, Sita, let's get the bad news first. 56, because this number is a little, 56% of Canadians are living paycheck to paycheck, right? There's about 41 million Canadians now. So we're looking at over 26 million people that if they miss a paycheck, they're gone into debt, right? And what does the Bible say about debtors, right? We should not be. And the picture in the US, you guys, it's even gloomier for you. It's 64% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. I don't know what the population is in the US. What is it, Odetta? What's the population there? Anybody know?
I think it's 300 million, maybe.
300, oh my goodness, 64%. I can't even wrap my head around how much people are living paycheck to paycheck there. And they need our help, right? That is crazy because you know what? We live in one of the most wealthiest countries in the world, North America. Isn't it true? But so many people are struggling, right? But guess what? There is great news because we have in Canada, we're number eight, top eight out of 10 for the amount of millionaires that we have in this country. So if you can see the statistics here, 1.681, a million, point 7 millionaires live in Canada. That's 3% of the global population. And in the US, oh my goodness, 21 million millionaires there, right? I know Odetta is working her way up to be one of those millionaires, right? And we can do it. We have the opportunity to do so, right? Because we live in one of the wealthiest countries in the world. So if you combine the two, it's over 40% chance we have of becoming millionaires. Isn't that great news, guys? What do you think? Brian, you think that's great news? Well, guess what? I have better news for you, Sita. People are living longer now. Take a look at these statistics here, right? People, as they're aging, they're getting long. One of my girlfriends, her grandmother lived till 102, right? I'm sure you guys, many people know centennials now. People are living longer. But what kind of quality of life are we living during those years, right? Those retirement, are we living longer or are we actually just dying longer, right? Here you can see there's many, many challenges because there's a lower birth rate, so there's not as much people putting in to the system so that we can have that social security, right? More single parents. Well, if people are living paycheck to paycheck with the dual income, oh my goodness, Angela, what happens when it's a single parent? How much of a struggle it is, right? And what about health concerns? Does anybody here think that as you age, your health gets better or does it get worse? What do you think, Richard? Up or down? Usually.
I think down.
Right? Usually, as you get older, the knees start, you get a little, you know what I mean? I always tell people they got to have their diaper changing money, right, Angela, as you get
You
older.
gotta have the Bengay nearby too.
I'm telling you, the Bengay, everything needs to be right there. You need your personal
The
support
rubbing
worker.
alcohol and everything gotta be. You gotta have extra money to buy those things.
I'm telling you, listen, I'm in Canada here and we have a system where they take care of you in the hospital, but it's not everything. They don't pay for everything. And sometimes you're be wait I've heard stories of people dying before they can get that appointment because the wait list is so long, right? So it's so important. I have an uncle who I just went and visit who was in the hospital. And if it wasn't for his brother coming to feed him, and he would probably have been dead already, right? And even just making sure that we have our wills and all those things into place. We want to make sure that we're not too busy right now during the first half of our life that we don't plan for the second half of our life, which is probably just as many years, right? If you retire at 50 and you die at 50, that's still 50 years in retirement, Angela, right? Where's the money going to come from, Brian? Well, I'm going to tell you three simple concepts. So the wealth curve, we'll talk about financial foundation and the rule of 72. All right. So you can write those down. Just three simple concepts. If you grasp these concepts, then that's a good foundation and a starting point to be good stewards of your money. Number one, we have to take care of our family, right? It's called adulting, right, Helen? We have responsibilities right now, maybe, and then we also want to build wealth, right? So over time, our wealth should be growing, and that is what's going to take care of us in the future. So how do we figure out how much responsibility how does that work, right? How can we stewards of that money? So we have something called the DIME method, DIM. So we debt, income, mortgage, and education. So you might have some debt, right? Maybe you have a car loan or something like that, right? But you also want to protect your income, Richard. So you want to leave your family with 10 times your income, right? That way your wife doesn't have to quickly run out and get remarried if something happens to you. She can, stay there and have that money to take care of everything. Okay. Then you want to pay for your mortgage. Who wants to still pay for their mortgage if their spouse is no longer there? Unfortunately, my dad didn't know about this. So my mom, who's 80 years old, Cheryl, she's still paying a mortgage, right, Tony? And when you're younger, maybe you have some kids, right? Over time, they should grow up, move out, the mortgage gets paid off, the debts are gone, right? But when you're young, you have a high level of responsibility. That means you have a high level of protection need, right? So when you calculate all this, you're going to figure out how much that need is. And then on the other scale, Vida, you want to plan for the future, right, Timothy? So number one, we know we need money and we know how to get it. We got to work and save that money, right? We do our 10%, our tithes. We do our 10% for ourselves. So you want to have that Timothy bill. You make sure that you're always paying yourself first, right? And then 80% is still left to do all of your expenses, your entertainment, and that type of stuff, right? And of course, it takes time, guys. This is the wealth formula, Mac. It takes time. There is no get rich quick scheme here. Well, you can try to get rich quick, but you know what, Yvonne? You might end up getting poor quick as well. Okay? So from there, you want to get a positive rate of return. Who doesn't want their money to grow? You want a positive rate of return. But guess what? Brian, what takes away from our wealth? Dun dun dun. Inflation, right? Nigel, we don't have any control over that. That's the cost of goods. We have no control over it. Well, I mean, we could protest and stuff like that, but we don't. And then, of course, Mr. Taxman
Taxes,
takes
yes.
away a lot of your money, the tax man, right? Does anybody know from these two negatives, inflation and taxes, which one of them we have some control over? Come on,
Maybe
guys. You have a
taxes.
50% chance. Huh? Who said that? Angela, you're right on. Exactly. Exactly. If you're an entrepreneur, if you're a businesswoman like myself and Miss Odetta, then guess what? Our trip to Poland this year, is it Poland we're going to? Because I've so many, we've been so many places. Well, Korea, we just went to in September, is a write-off, right? It's a business trip. We're going to Poland. That's a business trip. Right now, I'm in my home office, right? My utilities, my lights being used right now. My computer is a write-off. My cell phone bill every month, that's a write-off because we are business owners. So that reduces our taxes. And that way we save more wealth. And what can we do with that? We can be good stewards with that wealth now, right? We can save and invest that wealth because we're blessed. We can be a blessing to others, right? You may be comfortable, but there's some other people who are not. They're maybe sleeping under a bridge tonight in this cold. So if you work harder to get more, you can give more, right? So this is the basic wealth, the basic X curve concept. So the formula is 10-20. So you're going to need 10 times your income to protect your family now, right? If you have young kids, maybe two or three, you might want to have more years of your income. And then 20 times your income to protect your future, right? To have that retirement, nice little nest egg in the future. So, what exactly is it that we do, anyways, right? We want to build a solid financial foundation. That starts with proper protection for all of the what ifs in life, Sita, right? What if you get sick? Like I did in 2015. I couldn't see, I couldn't speak, I couldn't raise my hand. Then what happens, right? Where's the bills? Where's the money going to come from, right? What if you have a critical illness, right? Like my cousin had breast cancer and had to get that removed. People don't talk about the financial aspects of it, right? Because I know that, my cousin, her husband had to stay home, take care of that. You miss work. There's a lot of things that people don't talk about, the money aspect of it. And what if we go to meet our maker a little earlier than we think we should? Although everything's at its appointed time. But what happens to our family? Well, we're having a grand old time in heaven, and they're down here living in hell, right? Because we left bills instead of wills. It's so important that we have proper protection. And putting your will and all those things in place is a part of protection too, and protecting your income, right? Also, debt management. It's in the Bible, and we'll go through some of the verses. We want to eliminate all bad debt. We don't want any debt as Christians, but we can leverage good debt. Okay. Then emergency fund. How much emergency fund do you guys think that somebody should have? You can just unmute and let me know how many months worth of emergency fund is how much you have enough money to pay for your expenses for that month. How
At
many
least
months worth?
Used to
maybe
be
six
three
Six.
to
months.
six
6
6
three to
months.
six
months.
months, but now they're
Exactly.
saying that it should be a year's amount
I'm
because
t
of the cost.
That's right. That's right. 3 to 6 months. However, what happened during COVID? People lost their job for a year or two. So I always recommend people start out where you're at. So maybe it's a month worth until you can build up to a minimum of 12 months. When people get laid off, this is what we're looking at now. 1 year's worth of emergency fund. Because guess what? Life is always lifing, isn't it true? Right, Richard? The roof needs to be repaired. The washing machine breaks down. The dishwasher doesn't work. Your car breaks down. I mean, these are all things that I'm telling you happened to me last year, right? So I'm quickly waiting for 2026 to come in. All these things happened to me just last year, right? And then, of course, last but not least is investments. But this is what people put as first. A lot of people just do this and they don't have proper protection. So when something happens, they got to dip into their investments and they go into debt. So think about for your own personal self right now, right, Miss Helen? Right, Richard? Right, Vida? Where are you at on all these areas? Do you have 6 months? Do you have proper protection? Do you even know what proper protection is? Right? So 10 times proper protection, no debt, 6 times emergency fund. And why do you think, Yvonne, like why do you think they say 20 times for investment? Why does anybody think that they say 20 times?
Well, it's for your future to secure it. And when you're needing all of those things to be taken care of, when you're no longer working, you're going to have to replace your income. You're going to have any protection that you need. So,
Exactly. The bills are still there, right? So think about it. If you think of the traditional way when people retire at 65 and they die at 85, that's 20 years, right, guys? 20 years. Let's do the math. But now, I just told you, we're living longer, Odetta. My grandmother passed away at 95, so I'm going for 5 more years. So we're living till 100. And guess what? People are retiring earlier, Nigel. So if you retire at 60 and you'll live till, okay, let's say 90, right? That is 30 years. So really and truly, this number is kind of low. You should have 30 years worth, right? So if you make If we're looking back at the 20 years and you make $50,000 a year right now, 50 times 20, that's $1 million. So you need $1 million when you hit 65. Where's that money coming from? Do you have $1 million? If you're 50 right now, in 15 years, do you know for sure all your investments and everything is going to be $1 million, which is on the low end, right? Because everything, the cost, inflation, the cost of goods going up. So really and truly, this number should change to maybe 30 times your income. And that is because during retirement, we still have bills. Even if we've paid off our house, we still have property tax. We still have to pay gas in our car. We still have to pay car insurance. We still have to pay for that phone bill. Worse if you're not in the business and you have to pay the full bill. But at least if you have a business, you can write it off. But you still need money during retirement. And so many people are living longer, but they're retiring poor. So they're retiring in poverty when there are amazing programs out there that you can get with different things, annuities, and so many different things that you can guarantee your income, right? So you have to book an appointment with Odetta so that she can talk to you in depth more about those things because we're just doing a quick overview here tonight. Okay? So that is what we do. And these are the reasons why, because it is biblical. Pastor Nigel talked about it already. Proverbs 13:22. We have to leave an inheritance to our children's children, not just the children, but the children's children, right? It's biblical. So that is our protection. That's what we want to leave, a legacy. We want to leave that for their future, right? And for our debt management, we have Romans 13:8. Can anybody read that to me? Romans 13:8. And then I'll also ask someone else to read Proverbs 22:7, please. And this is in the debt management. This is part of our financial foundation. This is what we want to build, a solid financial foundation. And it
Romans
starts with
8,
education.
13 and 8.
Romans 13:8, please.
Okay, it says, "Oh, no man, no one anything except to love each other, for the one who loves another has fulfilled the law."
Amen. Amen. So there you go. Oh, we should not be owing. We shouldn't be owing people, right? We have to be the head and not the tail. We shouldn't be debtors. Okay? It's stated right there in the Bible. Can someone read Proverbs 22:7, please?
I'll read that one. Proverbs 22:7 says, the rich rule over the poor, and the borrower is a slave to the lender.
Are we going to be slave? Are we meant to be slaves? Well, guess what? If you're in debt, you're a slave to the lender. They can do whatever they want with you. Take away their home. Tell you that it's 10% interest that you're paying now. Oh no, now we're going to add on more. It's 20% interest. You got to do whatever they say, right?
And
Because
you
they lend you.
and you go to the job that you hate because you got to pay the car loan because you took a loan for the car. Right?
That's right.
You
You got the
finance.
JOB, the journey of the broke, right? Because you have to. You're forced to work in some place that you're not unhappy. You don't even like it there because you got to pay those bills, right? And then can someone look up Proverbs 21:20, please? So now we've moved on to emergency fund. What does the Bible say about this? And then I'll ask someone for 1 Corinthians 16:2, if you can please read that, because we need to be good stewards of our money. We have to be blessed so we can continue to bless others. We can't just be comfortable, right, Vita? Anyone able to do
I'll read,
Proverbs 21?
I'll read
I read
Proverbs
it.
120. There is treasure to be desired and oil in the dwelling of the wise, but the foolish man spend it all up.
Exactly. So the wise man saves, right? That's what the wise men do. When you think about what's the difference between the wealthy and those who are in poverty, guess what? They pay themselves first, like I said, right? So they have that Brian bill and they make sure they pay that 10% and they pay their tithes 10%, Richard. And then whatever, yes, even before the mortgage, they pay themselves and they pay those things first, right? Because just like the pastor said, everything here is the Lord owns it, and we're just here to take care of it. Even our precious children, they're on loan to us, right? And we have to be good stewards of them, good stewards of their money, good stewards of their future. We don't want to rob them. How about 1 Corinthians 16:2?
On the first day of the week, each one of you should set aside a sum of money in keeping with your income, saving it up so that when I come, no collection will have to be made.
There you go. It's telling you right there that we must save, right? We must save on a regular basis, little by little, right? It's something that we do consistently, saving and investing, saving and letting that money grow. Okay, it's biblical. A lot of times, you grow up in the church and you think, oh, there's sayings like money is the root of all evil. It's not. It's not. It's the love of money that's the root of all evil. All money does is brings out what's inside of you. So if you're a mean, stingy Scrooge, that amplifies it, right? You're going to be that person. If you're giving and loving and caring, you're just going to be blessing others, right? You're going to be opening up foundations. You're going to be opening up hospital wings. You're going to be able to do so much and feed the hungry and feed the homeless, right? So that's why we must do that. We must save and invest our money. We must use the talents that the Lord has given us. And now we have investments, which is at the top of our financial foundation. If anyone can find Ecclesiastes, I can never say that properly, Ecclesiastes 11:2, please.
Invest in seven ventures. Yes, in eight. You do not know what disaster may come upon the land.
Exactly. So you want to invest and save because you don't know the future, right? You want to store up and make that increase, especially for your future. You don't know if you're going to need long-term care in the future, right? Either you're going to live long, and if you do, we already talked about it, that most likely health goes down, right? You may need a back surgery, you may need a knee surgery. Who's going to change your diapers? Do you have your diaper changing money? Right? It's very important that we have all of this foundation set up and we start now. We can't, before it's late, right? We have to start that now. This is the last uh, concept that I want to share with you before I share a few examples. So I'm sure you all know Albert Einstein, right? Richard, you know Albert Einstein, like everybody's heard of him, right? Right, Tony? But what do you know? You know E equals MC squared, right, Tracy? But have you ever heard of the rule of 72? Those who are in the finance industry probably have, but so many people have not. Many of our people don't know this rule, right? And this is how our money doubles. So I'm going to ask somebody can tell me how much are they getting from their money sitting in the bank right now? Anybody can tell me like what interest rate, like what percentage are you getting from your money that's sitting in your regular bank account?
That's without service charges.
Right? That's gone into the
Because
negative.
you're getting negative, right?
Yeah, let's be generous. Let's say you're getting 1%. Let's just
or
be generous.
how about a quarter of a percent?
Right? That's really truly it. 0.4 exactly, Sita, right? Oh, Tracy, you're getting 3.4. Wow. Let me know where you're getting that and if it's a regular thing or you have to lock it in or something. So let's just say you're getting 1% on average. That means that if you have $100 just sitting in the bank, 72 divided by 1 is what? It's going to take 72 years for that 100 to turn to 200. Oh my gosh, Odetta, that's not going to double in my lifetime. It's not going to double in my kid's lifetime. That's crazy. So that's how come I knew that, I have to find out where I can put my money because it's that's not working. That's not working for me. So I need to get better interest rates. So if I can get 12%, then my money double 6%, then my money doubles every 12 years. So as you can see, compounding, right? So if you have 10,000 just sitting there, remember, you're not touching it. It's just sitting there. In 36 years, it's 81,000. Now, who thinks that they can retire on $81,000 in 36 years from now? What do you think? Is that good money or how long will that last you during retirement? Sita, what do you think? How long will that last you during retirement?
If we stretch maybe 1 to 2 years,
That's
it
it's,
depends how much we spend.
that's pretty long. That's you gonna be eating some cat food maybe during that time because 80,000 right now a year is hard to live off
It's
of. So
nothing.
in 36
Yeah.
years from now, when everything goes up, this may last you a month or two, right?
Yeah.
But what if you can get just 2% more? Look at the difference. Now that money doubled. We're looking at almost 160K, right? So is that still enough? No, absolutely. Let's get double digits. And now we're into the 300,000. And if you're getting 12%, which a lot of our clients are getting, double digits, 10, 12, they're getting more, right? So in retirement now they can have a decent money for their retirement. And when you look at the wealth formula in forms of dollars, right? So let's look at Angela, who was getting 3% or 4%. It's not even five, right? If you have your $100 sitting there and you're getting 5%, you get a dollar. But then, dun dun dun, what did we say? Mr. Taxman's going to take away some of your money. And then don't forget about inflation, right? Just in COVID, inflation was like at 7, 8%. And they said it went down, but I didn't see any of the prices go back to normal. Did anybody see any of the cheese is still expensive? The fruits are still expensive. I didn't see any of the prices go down. I don't know if anybody, if it's in your area, the prices went back to normal. But then in 5 years from now, what did you actually gain? 75 cents? But did you really gain 75 cents? Because what you could buy for $100 5 years ago
Hmm.
is not what
Inflation.
you can buy for $100 right now, right? It's not the same. Maybe you could buy 2 bags of groceries 5 years ago. Now it's 1 bag. And if it's organic, it's half a bag. Okay. So I just have a few quick real life examples because I like to just be realistic and give people, that, it's not just talking. Like these are actual, I have actual clients, like this is real life and it can be done. So I just want to share a little bit on some of the investment and some of the proper protection here. These are Canadians programs, so they might be slightly different from you. But just taking a look here, I have a client who wanted to invest for their son. And they're using, we have Canada Child Tax Benefit. So it's $200 she gets every month. So she said, you know what? Let me use this money and put it into something for my son so that he can have something for the future. Right. So he's only 10 years old right now. So this is a life insurance. It's universal life. I know you guys have index universal life. We don't have the index part, but we have universal life. And he's going to have $250,000 and he has the option to get another 250,000, no questions asked. And that's super cheap. It's guaranteed for a child. You can do it guaranteed insurability. It only costs like another dollar, $2. I always put that on. So if anything happens to the child, it doesn't matter. They will still get, they're guaranteed that insurance, right? So here you can see right now, anything happens, oh my goodness, the parents will get to be able to stay home, take care of the kids, whatever, right? And as this grows, they will have something called living benefits in there. If anything happens to him older in life, like say 65 here, something happens, he has over $807,000, $870,000 that he could use to take care of himself, to have a personal nurse, have a private nurse, have do anything that he needs like that if something had happened to him early on in life at age 65. But suppose he lives long, nice life, like we're saying, 100. Look at that, 8 million. 8 million left to the next generation, right? So that could be left for your grandkids, but he has access to this money at any time, right? So this is something that we call the legacy. So this is something that we is for that first format for that proper protection, right? For leaving an inheritance to your children's children. Do you think that if your grandkids get that 8 million, that you did a good job leaving an inheritance to your children's children? What do you guys think? Yes? Yeah. Or what are you going to leave them? Bills and GoFundMe? Is that what we're leaving people? Right? And here you can see, even for your own self, if you need if you're doing your investments, a lot of clients are getting, like I said, 12% interest. This is in a locked-in retirement account. This one's getting 8% interest. You saw what I showed you when they're getting 8%, 10%, right? 8% interest. Clients are getting, on their registered retirement savings plan. This is what you guys call your 401k. They're getting 12% interest, right? We have tax-free savings in Canada, 13%. So people are getting these double digits. These are my real life clients. You see the date, November 10th, right? This is a retirement income fund. So she's already starting to she's in her 70s, and this nurse is starting to collect her money, right? And look, she started out with 250,000 last year. And this year she already gained, just because of 10%, she gained 30 grand. So she doesn't need money, so she can just live off of the interest. So you can see how this is how she's being stewarding, her money is growing. So she can just live off of the interest and still leave that to her church because she doesn't have any children. So she's going to leave that inheritance to a charity when she passes away because she has no children, right? If you don't do these investments, guess what? You just eat out your money until it's done. And there's nothing left to provide for anybody else. Here, I got the permission from my pastor to show this is actually our church, because you may have a lot of churches that's sitting on a lot of money. Maybe they want, like, we want to get a building. So we're saving and we're actively saving because we want to have our own personal church. Right now we're renting. But in the meantime, what is that money doing? Right? like you said, it's probably service fees and you're actually losing money. But this is something that's safe, guaranteed, you cannot lose. And right now, it's been in there for two years, 100,000, and now it's at 108,000. So just sitting there, very, very conservative, made 8,000. The money's making money on itself. Didn't add another penny, right? Who is going to give you, Sita, $8,000 just for being there in the year? Which bank is going to give you $8,000? If anybody can tell me a bank that's going to give them $8,000, then, we can just end all of the things we're doing right now. Right? And I also just wanted to share with you here what this mom is actually putting in. If we look at the average age, let's say 85 because he's a boy and he dies a little bit earlier. Just do a quick calculation here. Calculate. So we just do a quick math of how much you put in. Remember, $200 a year. And now the mother was putting in, when the boy gets older, he's going to continue it. So $200 for him, maybe $20 by then, because it's not going to be really, it's not really a lot of money. That's like $6 a day, right? That's a coffee and a donut. So if we look at how much he put in, if he put in for all those years, for 90 years, he would have put in 216,000 to get 8 million. Guys, I don't even know how to calculate how much times that is. I think it's like 37 times return on your money. Is there any place where you can get that? Right? And if it's 75 years, that say he dies at 85, right? For those who like the math, he would have put in $180,000 to get 3.365 million dollars. I think that's about 11 times what he put in. I don't know any place where you're getting that kind of return on your money. And once again, you have the cash value, you have the living benefits that you can use, take out anytime, right? So this is a part of one of the great proper protection plans that we have. And I did have a bit more to share with you, but I see that we are already over time. That means we must need a 2.0. We need to redo this. We need a part two because, yes, I did have a few more things to share with you. But, at the end of the day, the most important thing is that we are going to be a blessing to others with this knowledge, sharing this knowledge and being able to be good stewards of our money and being able to connect with Odetta, connect with whoever invited you here so that you can get more information and get yourself on a proper plan so that you can benefit, your family can benefit, and we can do the best with the Lord's money.
Stacy, I'm so proud of you. You did
I'm
it.
very passionate. I really think this topic is important because you know what? At the end of the day, Odetta, money's not everything, but you need money for everything. You know what I mean? Tell me when you're in the hospital and you need this and they're saying that it costs XYZ, that money doesn't mean anything. Tell me when you need to detox and eat organic and eat healthy, that money doesn't mean anything. At the end of the day, it does. So we just have to, you know, do the right things as it is biblical and says in the Bible what to do and follow those things. And yeah,
Oh, well, you heard it. Faith and Finance, we will continue doing these sessions every Sunday. And so we may have to bring Stacy back again.
and Pastor and Bishop. Bishop has a lot more. I think we got to do two individual ones. Like he has
Yeah.
a whole the hour. Yeah.
One by yourself and then one by himself. We'll
Yes.
work on that, guys. And if you're part of a church that you'd like us to reach out to your church and have them, come on and also see this information. But more important, we're trying to get this information more out to everyone, but also the church because we know the church has a they have an audience and this people need that information. How many times you may have a sister going to the church for 30 something years and then God forbid they pass away and now we got to like do a fish fry to bury sister or whoever, right? Or maybe somebody got sick and now we got to like pass a collection plate to help this person. Well, all of that can be avoided if we know and put the right strategies in place. And then, of course, it is what it is, but we're going to do the best that we can. So, thank you guys so much for being on. Thank you again to our amazing guest speakers, Stacy Thomas and Bishop Nigel Ricketts. We truly appreciate your time and your expertise. Continue doing the amazing work you guys are doing up in Canada. And if we could help you with anything, we are here and vice versa. When you come to the US, we're here for you. and let's just continue doing God's work because somebody blessed us with this opportunity, and if they didn't bless us, we wouldn't be where we are today. So we're not going to be selfish. We're going to continue spreading the mission. So thank you guys so much, and we will see you. For those of you on the US side, we have Power Monday tomorrow, 12 o'clock Eastern with Johnny. And then, of course, we have our usual Mondays and Thursdays webinar. This is going to be an extra special week because we have New Year's Eve. But stay tuned to the channel, and you guys will see each other tomorrow on Zoom. And thanks again, Stacy.
Awesome. Have a blessed night,
Thanks, everyone. Good
everyone.
night.
Bye-bye.
Thank
Thank you,
you. Good night.
Bishop.
Have a
Great
good one.
job. Thank you, Stacy. Thank you, Nigel. Excellent
Thank
job.
you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. God bless you, everyone.